Mac Miller.
Malcolm James McCormick, best known by his stage name Mac Miller, is an American rapper from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He is also a noted record producer under the pseudonym Larry Fisherman. He is signed to Pittsburgh-based Rostrum Records, and released his debut album Blue Slide Park, on November 8, 2011, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 despite being released completely independently. His second studio album Watching Movies with the Sound Off was released on June 18, 2013.
Early life.
Malcolm James McCormick was born on January 19, 1992, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the son of Karen Meyers, a photographer, and Mark McCormick, an architect. His father is Christian and his mother is Jewish. Miller was raised Jewish and had a bar mitzvah. He was raised in the Point Breeze part of Pittsburgh. Miller attended Winchester Thurston School and Taylor Alderdice High School. In high school, Miller decided to focus on his hip-hop career, later noting, "Once I hit 15, I got real serious about it and it changed my life completely. I used to be into sports, play all the sports, go to all the high school parties. But once I found out hip-hop is almost like a job, that's all I did." Miller, a self-taught musician, plays piano, guitar, drums, and bass.
Career. 2007 to 2010, career beginnings.
Miller first started rapping at the age of 14. Before that, he wanted to be a singer-songwriter. Prior to changing his name to Mac Miller, he was known as EZ Mac and released the mixtape But My Mackin' Ain't Easy in 2007 at the age of 15. Miller was also part of rap group The Ill Spoken together with fellow Pittsburgh rapper, BD. The Ill Spoken released the mixtape How High in 2008. In 2009 Mac Miller released two mixtapes The Jukebox, Prelude to Class Clown and The High Life before getting signed to Rostrum Records. In 2009 at age 17, he made it to the Final Four in Rhyme Calisthenics, the MC competition at Shadow Lounge. In early 2010, Miller signed with Rostrum Records. Rostrum president Benji Greenberg met Miller while recording with Wiz Khalifa at ID Labs. Although Greenberg started giving Miller advice, he didn't show any interest in getting involved with his career until the artist began work on the KIDS mixtape, when, as he later told Headquarters, Greenberg noticed a maturation in his sound and approach to his music. By that point Miller had started attracting interest from different record companies but chose Rostrum due to its location in his hometown and association with Wiz Khalifa. KIDS was released by the label in August 2010. The mixtape was inspired by the movie Kids. A significant breakthrough came in late 2010 when Miller embarked on his first tour, the Incredibly Dope Tour, selling out every location. In 2010, he won 2 awards at the Pittsburgh Hip Hop Awards.
2011-12, Blue Slide Park and other releases.
Miller's fifth release was the mixtape, Best Day Ever featuring the single Donald Trump, and hit songs Wear My Hat, and All Around the World. The mixtape featured mainstream producers such as Just Blaze, Ninth Wonder, and Chuck English. On November 22, 2010 his first single Knock Knock premiered its video on YouTube. On March 29, 2011, he released an EP called On and Beyond. The 6-track work was produced by Rostrum Records. On July 5, 2011, Miller announced the title of his first album Blue Slide Park on his YouTube channel, set for a full release. In September 2011 it was revealed that Miller would release a mixtape titled 92 Till Infinity hosted by DJ Jazzy Jeff prior to the release of Blue Slide Park. However, the release did not happen, and it was since then left in planning. Miller featured on Maroon 5's remix of their hit song Moves Like Jagger. On October 14, 2011, Mac Miller released a 13-song mixtape called I Love Life, Thank You, featuring Sir Michael Rocks of the Cool Kids, Talib Kweli, and Bun B. On November 2011, Blue Slide Park debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 with first-week sales of 144,000 copies. This was the first independently distributed debut to take the #1 spot on the Billboard albums chart since their Dog Pound's 1995 release Dog Food. In 2011, Miller was one of 11 rappers featured in XXL Magazine's freshman class of 2011. In 2011, his first TV appearance took place in the VH1 show Single Ladies. He played a fictionalized version of himself that succeeded in selling one of his mixtapes to one of the main characters. Also in 2011, he was a part of MTV Jam's Fab Five artists. On February 15, 2012, Mac Miller uploaded a trailer on YouTube for his long-anticipated music video Missed Calls. It was released on his official YouTube channel on June 22, 2012. On March 23, 2012, Mac Miller released his seventh mixtape called Macadelic. He released Loud as a single off the mixtape as well as making a music video. Loud peaked at number 53 on the Billboard Hot 100. Miller also released a video for Thoughts from a Balcony. In June 2012, Mac Miller premiered the song Honor Roll, available on YouTube. Honor Roll is performed by Mac Miller and produced by Pharrell Williams, from a future collaboration EP titled Pink Slime. On August 7, 2012, Miller released a further single from Pink Slime, Glow, available for free download. On September 1, Miller released another free song called Plane Car Boat, which features West Coast rapper Schoolboy Q and was produced by himself. On November 21, 2012, Miller released an iTunes exclusive EP entitled You under the name Larry Lovestein and the Velvet Revival. Rather than rap, the EP features Miller crooning over lounging jazz instrumentals.
2012 present, watching movies with the sound off.
On October 14, Miller announced Pink Slime would be released before the end of 2012 and that his second album, Watching Movies with the Sound Off, will be released in early 2013. Watching Movies with the Sound Off is set to feature guest appearances from Schoolboy Q, Ab-Soul, Earl Sweatshirt, Tyler, The Creator, Action Bronson and Jay Electronica. When speaking of the album, Miller said that it is very introspective and very personal, so it's kind of throwing it all out there and seeing what happens. He also announced his plans to finally release 92 Till Infinity with DJ Jazzy Jeff in early 2013 prior to his release. Mac Miller is currently featured on a 6-episode reality series titled Mac Miller and the Most Dope Family on MTV2. It features the production of Watching Movies with the Sounds Off and premiered on February 26, 2013. The first trailer was released on January 20, 2013. On March 4, 2013, Miller released a new mixtape solely featuring instrumentals made by Miller titled Run-On Sentences Volume 1 under his production alias Larry Fisherman. On March 9, he would announce the first single from Watching Movies with the Sound Off to be Somebody Do Something, and to release soon. He premiered a snippet of the song of the second episode of his reality show. On May 2, 2013, he announced via Ustream and Twitter that Watching Movies with the Sound Off would be released on June 18, 2013. The album was met with generally positive reviews upon its release, with most critics praising his new psychedelic sound. The album also received commercial success, debuting at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and selling 101,000 copies in its first week. The album spawned 3 singles: SDS, Watching Movies, and Goosebumps. Mac Miller started his own record label in early 2013, Remember Music, named after a friend who died. He also fully produced Odd Future affiliate Vince Staples' mixtape, Stolen Youth. During October 2013, Miller toured Europe with fellow rappers Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz. On October 31, 2013, Mac Miller released a new self-produced mixtape named Delusional Thomas. On December 17, 2013, Miller released his first live album, Live From Space. Following that, he plans to begin working with Pharrell again on their collaboration EP Pink Slime to be released during 2014. He is also currently working on 4 separate projects, that he already has at least 7 songs done on each. He told MTV that they include his next solo Mac Miller album, and it came together by accident.
Influences.
Mac Miller includes Big L, Lauryn Hill, The Beastie Boys, Outkast, and A Tribe Called Quest among his influences. He also has a close relationship with fellow Pittsburgh rapper Wiz Khalifa, saying Wiz has been a big brother to me with this music thing so far. Our relationship is beyond music. He really is just my homie, whether I will be making music or not.
Personal life.
Miller has said that he became addicted to combination of promethazine and codeine known as purple drank, or lean, which he began taking to manage the stress he was enduring during his Macadelic tour in 2012. In January 2013, Miller told Complex. At the time of Miller's addiction, his childhood friend, Jimmy Merton, said, "I saw him in that mentality I remember being in, you're getting fucked up because you feel like you need to. You're trying to get away from everything." For how much he was drinking, it's unbelievable that he stopped. It's definitely one of the most impressive things he's ever done. Miller quit taking promethazine in November 2012, before he started the shooting of his upcoming reality show, Mac Miller and the Most Dope Family. Miller was in a long-term relationship with a girl he met in middle school for 4 years until April 2013. Many of the songs on his mixtape Macadelic were about their relationship.
Legal issues.
In February 2011, while on tour in upstate New York, Miller and his friends were arrested for possession of marijuana for which they had to spend the night in jail. The case was settled. In June 2012, producer Lord Finesse filed a $10 million lawsuit against Mac Miller, Rostrum Records and Attribution for the use of a sample of Finesse's song Hip to Da Game used in Miller's 2010 mixtape song Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza, even though the song was not commercially released and Finesse was given credit for the sample from the beginning. A case can be made that the song made money through YouTube ads and Lord Finesse could be entitled to some of those, but instead Finesse believes that his beat has been instrumental to all of Mac's success. This was done even though the song is itself based on an Oscar Peterson sample, which he himself never paid for. In January 2013 the lawsuit was settled outside of court with actual legal results not revealed.
Discography.
KIDS, 2010, Best Day Ever, 2011, Blue Slide Park, 2011, Macadelic, 2012, Watching Movies with the Sound Off, 2013.
Tours.
The Incredibly Dope Tour, 2011, Blue Slide Park Tour, 2011, Macadelic Tour, 2012, Under the Influence of Music Tour, 2012, with Wiz Khalifa, The Space Migration Tour, 2013.